Hey everybody, and welcome to another aesthetic imaging video tutorial. Today, it's going to be about fractal noise. The reason why we're doing this tutorial is because I was approached by someone or something, I'm not really sure yet. Let's just say he was very convincing. I'm not going to kill you. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm fractal noise. Alright, so that's a thing that happened. Yeah, so like I said, we're going to be talking about fractal noise. It's an extremely versatile effect that actually comes right with Adobe After Effects. So you got it, let's learn it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start off by creating a new comp here. Just click on this icon, and we're going to call this just fractal for now. Fractal noise. You can make it any size you want. I'm going to make this 1280 by 720. And whatever frames per second you want. Oop, make this more than 3 seconds. Make it 10, not 120. Okay, hit OK. So now we have this. So we're going to right click on here and go to New Solid. I guess first thing we should do is name this fractal noise. Whatever, black, doesn't matter. First thing we should do is just give a quick rundown of the actual effect. So we're going to go over to our effects and presets, and we're going to type in fractal noise. All right, and you want the one that is under noise and grain. So if you go up here, in here, noise and grain, it would be over here. All right, so fractal noise, dump that on there. And this is fractal noise. It looks like clouds. Up here, the first options that you have are the fractal type. And there's a whole list of different ones. I normally use basic or dynamic progressive. Each one obviously gives you a different look, even the different dynamics. All right. So right there, you're opening up a lot of possibilities. Second type is second option is the noise type. So right now it's set to soft linear. You can set it to block, which, as you can see, makes it blocky. Linear, soft linear, spline. They all offer different looks. Set that back to soft linear. You can invert it. You can change the contrast. And you can change the brightness. And over here under overflow, we have a couple different options. You can clip it, soft clamp, wrap back, and then we have allow HDR results. And again, these will all give you different looks. A lot of the different ones we'll be going into. Under here, you have transform. You can set the rotation. You can do scaling. Scale it up, scale it down. You can even do non-uniform. You can imagine the different looks you can get. You can offset the turbulence. And this causes it to move in a specific direction that you want. You can change the complexity. Here, obviously, the higher the complexity, the more detailed it is. We have a setting for subsettings over here. You can influence, basically it's two different fractal textures that are mixing together to create this look. Basically, if you turn down the sub influence, you can see what lies beneath it. And when you turn it all the way up, you can see the sub influence. All right, and you can even scale up or down. And you can rotate it. And again, this will give you different looks depending on what you're using. Again, we'll go into all of that. You can put where you want the subset to be. So you can even move that as well as the turbulent offset. And you can rotate the evolution, which causes the fractal to animate over here. Evolution options, you can cycle the evolution. You can do a random seed. So if you don't like the way it looks when it starts out, you can change that. And you can change the opacity and how it blends onto the layer below. Let's do this. Set dish to below. See? There you go. So when it's set to normal, you don't see the bottom layer. Set it to add, you can see that, multiply, your basic blending modes. All right, so that is fractal noise. And so now let's get started by creating our first little scene, we'll call it. We'll start a new comp. Call this Ocean Main. 1280 by 720 is fine. There we go, Ocean Main. And we're going to start off by creating a new solid. You can even go up to layer up here, new solid, or hit Command Y. Make this a black layer, okay. And then we're going to add our fractal noise. Now for this one, we want to create a water effect. So to start off, you want to basically think about what you want it to look like at the end. And I don't know, to me, water kind of looks like this, except now you can either invert it here, or you can change the sub rotation. All right, and we're going to bump up the contrast a little bit, like that. Maybe bring down the brightness. That's fine. And we're going to set this overflow to soft clamp. All right, and we're going to turn down the complexity. All right, so now we want to set the evolution to start going. And the way we're going to do that is with an expression. So we're going to Alt-click on the stopwatch and type in time times, or a little asterisk, and we'll do 250. Now when we play this back, kind of looks like water. Cool. So now on top of this fractal noise, we want to add a tint. So under color correction tint, all right, under the black, we want to go to a bluish color. That's about right. Bring up the saturation to 100 and bring up the brightness. All right, and one thing I want to do is maybe change the scale. So we just get more ocean. How about that? All right, and map white, we're going to do another blue. Make it more of a teal color this time. So let's put on a curves. Boom. And we'll just do a little S curve. Give it a little more dynamics. Here we go. Now we have our water. What we can do is over in our project, under assets, we have a shark silhouette. Now, I'm not going to get full on into how to animate. Just not going to do that. I'm sorry. What we are going to do is pre-compose this. So we're going to hit Shift, Command C, and we're going to call this Shark Comp. And we want to make sure Move All Attributes is selected. There we go. Let's go into our Shark Comp. Turn on our transparency. And real quick, we're just going to open up the puppet tool right here. We're just going to put some points on Mr. Sharky. And right there. Whatever. So one thing we can do here, he's kind of starting off going like that. We can hit U on the keyboard to bring up our keyframes. Move them over to the beginning. And maybe go to 1 second. Select one of the pins. We're just going to bring it over like that. Maybe bring this guy over. This guy up. I don't know, does that? No. There we go. Bring him over like that. Whoop. All right, so we're going to select all our keyframes here. Right click, go to Keyframe Assistant, Easy Ease. And now we're going to select them again. Hit Command C to copy them. And we're doing at 1 second, so go to 2 seconds. And you can just paste. And just keep going until you fill your comp. And select this first one here and put it at 10 seconds. Paste. So we can hit P on our keyboard while our shark comp is selected. Hit the stopwatch. Make sure we press V on the keyboard to bring up the move tool. And we can grab it, click on it, and hold Shift and drag it down to bring it down to the bottom. And go to the end, click, Shift, drag, like that. Bring it to the middle here, 5 seconds. All right, so we want to make it look like it's under the water. Under the sea. So the way we can do that is we can duplicate our water here by hitting Command D, bringing it to the top. And for this one, we want to take away the tint. We don't need it. There we go. You can even turn up the brightness here. All right, and we're going to set our shark comp. We're going to go over here where it says track matte. We're going to set it to Luma matte inverted. Now, it still doesn't look right. So we can take our shark, we can add curves. Bring up the black point, like that. And we can go into our channels right here, go to blue. Bump that up. And we want to add a little green in it. into it, or cyan more. So we go to red, pull that bottom down. There we go. We can even hit T on the keyboard to maybe bring down the opacity. We have our shark swimming. Another thing we can do is we can pre-compose this guy right here. Shift, Command C, pre-compose it. And we're going to call this matte. All right, so on our shark comp, we can add the effect displacement map. Distort displacement map. Throw that right on our shark. And we can set the layer to be our matte. Set both of these channels to be luminance. Maybe bring that up just a bit. You don't want to do it too much. So now, it'll give it just a little bit of distortion and displacement. Another thing you can do is add a fastbox blur. Blur and sharpen, fastbox blur. And just do a couple pixels. Or blur radius. Set it up a little bit, you know. And now you have your shark. And like I said, you can play around with the animation to make it a little more believable. But this is the basic gist of everything. All right. For our next trick, we're going to create a new comp. Call this cloud scene main. All right. So first thing we're going to do, new, solid. Actually, we can name this clouds. All right. So we're going to add our fractal noise here. And boom, we have our clouds. Maybe bump up our contrast. Lower the brightness just a little bit. And we can change this to dynamic progressive. We can set our overflow to clip. Go to our transform. Scale it down a bit. Because we're going to need it. We're actually going to need it smaller than you would think. All right. For our offset turbulence, we're going to go to the beginning. Click on the stopwatch. Hit U on the keyboard to bring up the keyframes. And we're going to bring it down. Bring it here. Delete that keyframe at the end. Bring that keyframe over. There we go. We got some movement there. We're going to Alt-click on the stopwatch to bring up our expressions for the evolution. We're going to do time times and something small like 50. All right. So what else we can do here is go to layer, new, solid. And let's see, we're going to make a blue background. Like show, bring up brightness. Like that, bring it down to the bottom. Set our cloud layer to screen. And maybe change the color of that. Shift, Command Y will bring up the settings. The sky is usually not as saturated as you might think. So we have that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pre-compose this. Shift Command C, pre-compose it. And call it Clouds PC for pre-comp or pre-composition. Move all attributes, hit OK. And set this back to the screen. So now what we can do is we can turn this into a 3D layer. Hit W on your keyboard to rotate it, and hit R on the keyboard to bring up your rotation. And you can either make it completely flat, I'm doing a little bit off, just makes things easier. Hit V on the keyboard to bring it up, and hit S so you can scale it out. And you can just keep adjusting it until it looks the way you want it. I think that's fine. And what you can do next is bring in, say, your background. Oops. Is a lot bigger than I thought. All right. Move it into place here. Now, if you notice, you got this hard line here. What we can do to fix that is go to our cloud pre-comp, pre-compose it again. Cloud comp. Whatever. Oh man, that was terrible. Cloud. There we go. Hit OK. And you can either set this back to screen again, or another thing you can do, go over here, click on that. So now we take our rectangle mask tool and we just create a mask like so. Actually, we'll need to do set this to screen. All right, and for our mask, we want to put subtract, hit F to feather it. And you have your skyline. Now when we play it back, the clouds are moving into the distance. All right, so when I originally wanted to do this tutorial, I was kind of expecting it to be a lot shorter than it actually turned out. So I'm breaking it up into 2 parts. Next part will be out on Friday. All right, so thanks for watching this part, and I'll see you Friday.